morning and welcome back to the Teacher's Table. I'm Alyssa Wolf. Today we will be discussing a very important issue that many of you have been emailing us about. Standardized testing seems to be a prevalent issue this time of year, especially when many of us have to deal with them in our classrooms in the springtime each year. I would now like to welcome to the podcast Allie Travis, a third grade teacher from Bloomington, Indiana. She has been teaching in the Monroe County Public School District for 4 years now and has come to share her opinions and struggles with us today on the issue of standardized testing. Thanks for coming, Allie.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa. It's great to be here to share my experiences on this subject.
So, to start us off today, what can you tell us about your school district and standardized testing? What tests are you involved with?
Well, we take the I-STEP, which is the Indiana statewide testing for educational progress. This is the standardized test that all students in the state of Indiana are required to take to measure students' achievement starting at grade 3. In addition, beginning this year, Indiana now requires all third grade students to take the I-Read 3, which makes sure that all third grade students are proficient readers before moving on to fourth grade.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of tests that you, especially as a third grade teacher, have to deal with. What happens if these third graders do not pass this I-Read 3 test?
Well, the students are given 2 opportunities to try and pass the test. Then they're enrolled in summer school, and they are retained for up to 2 years in the third grade.
That sounds really harsh. It sounds like a big fear that many teachers are expressing with standardized tests. It seems like the government thinks that retention is the answer. What are your personal thoughts?
I think this is a really high-stakes test for kids. I think it is really stressful for both teachers and students. I think the idea is nice that all students will be prepared in the literacy department before they move on to the next grade. However, I'm not 100% certain that grade retention is the best solution for this. There are quite recent studies that discuss how grade retention may seem like the students who are being retained are keeping up the students in their new grade. But when they are compared to the students in their old grade, they are falling way behind, which is not what we're looking to do.
I see. So what do you do in your classroom in order to prepare your students for these standardized tests, but also keep your students engaged throughout the day? I know this was a big question from our listeners.
I've been struggling with this myself, and I am still working on this. For now, I really try to turn standardized testing practice into literacy games. I don't want my kids to think that there's all this pressure on them to do well on these tests. I don't want them to freak out. I make sure that they are constantly reading. I try to do read-alouds with them as often as I can, and we love our class cafe menu. As long as I am doing my best job as a teacher to make sure that my students really understand the strategies and are learning to love literature at the same time, I feel like I'm doing my job. I'm obviously not perfect, and I love to collaborate with other teachers and go to resources like KinderChat on Twitter and other blogs. Those are really helpful as well.
Thank you so much for all of your insights, Allie. We really appreciate you taking your time to be here today. Best of luck to your students this spring on their tests, and keep doing what you're doing. We need more teachers like you. You can contact Allie by email, which will be available on our webpage. Thanks for tuning in today. Tune back in tomorrow to Teacher's Table for some talk on classroom management.